the 2017 Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon, the Run to Remember, coming up next Sunday on April 30th. Dave Morris here in Oklahoma's video studio for a preview of looking back at last year's race and the winner and some of the new things that we can find in the marathon this year. We have the Marathon Operations Director, Jordan Wood. Good to see you.
Yes, good to see you too.
And good to see you again, sir. You won last year's men's and overall full marathon, Mr. Patrick Gomez. How are you?
Good, thanks for having me.
Didn't recognize you when you walked in.
Yeah.
Because last year at the finish line, you're clean shaven.
Yeah.
How long does it take?
Well, this is the comeback beard, is what it's been dubbed.
Okay.
So I spent a lot of this last year injured, so I think I started growing this about 12 to 14 weeks ago, and that's been the healthy stint of training. So
okay.
The longer the beard, the higher the fitness level.
Okay, good. That's the indication.
Yep.
Clearly, we're off to a serious start of this interview as we just dive right into the beard. Injury, though, what was the injury?
Well, it started at the Memorial last year, or about mile 20 of the Memorial last year.
Okay, the hamstring or the cramping that you had at that point, was that what it?
That was
foreshadowing, maybe.
The first, yeah, that took me out for about 3 months, and then that led to another kind of long-term injury that had been building on the same side in my knee, and that took me out for another 5 months or so.
But you're still running.
Still running, still trying.
You still got that bug, if you will, to get out there and pound the pavement.
Putting one foot in front of the other.
Okay. So. He was the 2017, is the reigning 2017 Memorial Marathon overall and men's division winner, and it was your first marathon, which just blows my mind. And there you are, cleanly shaven, crossing the finish line.
Yikes. Yeah. It was an exciting moment, a rather uncomfortable one as well. There's me limping off to the side, feeling great. Yeah. So that was.
See, that was a good fade and transition there from cleanly shaven into the beard there. So, okay. So this year, are you going to return to repeat? You're going to defend your crown.
I'll be cutting the distance in half and shooting for the half marathon this time around.
Last year, you told us, and Kyle Fredrickson from the Oklahoman was part of that interview that we had with you. Actually, you kind of went into the race thinking, "Hey, I could win this thing." How, as a first timer, can you come into a marathon of all things and think, you know what, I got a shot at this?
When you're trying to be competitive, I very rarely believe in stepping on a starting line without feeling like you have a chance to win it, even if maybe realistically you don't. I think it's just having that mindset. But my training personally, for me at that point, was about the best it's ever been, for the longest it had ever been. So I was fairly confident when April rolled around that I'd be able to do something pretty special for me. And that's just how it ended up shaking out that day.
That makes sense. We're talking about Patrick Gomez, last year's winner of the men's and the overall for the Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon. Next to me is Jordan Wood, the Marathon Operations Director. Patrick mentions he's running the half marathon this year, and I'm going to ask you about your marathon history. Have you ever run a marathon?
I have not, unfortunately, yet. I haven't had the chance to run our marathon. I've ran our 5K, but I did just complete my first half marathon in Disney World.
Well, congratulations, though.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. How was that? And
it was
by the way,
fun.
why did you pick Disney World for your first half marathon?
Well, if I couldn't run the Memorial half, I thought I would pick the next best thing, in my opinion, which was the Disney Princess half, where I was Cinderella in my Memorial Marathon blue shirt. So.
You were Cinderella. How much garb is a person wearing at this event?
The bigger the tutu, the better.
That's a great answer. Patrick, is it harder to run in more apparel, or is it better to run in less apparel?
Can't really speak from experience with the tutu, but I would imagine a little bit more challenging, a little more wind resistance there.
Do you prefer hot or cold weather?
I grew up in Alabama, and I think I race a little bit better in the heat. Something about just adapting to that environment. Everything. I think I enjoy running in cool weather better. But if I have to race people, I'd rather race them in hot and muggy conditions.
I'm kind of with you on that. I much prefer the warmer conditions to run in versus the cold. But a lot of the runners that we interview, they definitely prefer cooler conditions.
Oh, it's easier.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Jordan. So what's new for this year?
Well, what's new is we just launched a new app this past week, and it will have all of the details that you'll need as a runner or a spectator or a volunteer race weekend. You can build your own custom schedule. It will have all of these points of interest along the course that you can look at, and it's just, you can track runners on there and find any detail that you need to know about the race.
I think that's a big thing because this marathon has such a large footprint. Starting downtown, goes out to Lake Hefner, comes all the way back. Of knowing where should I go if I want to watch someone?
Yeah, you can definitely find that, and you can download it today, and we have it both as an Apple or an Android.
It's a good point. It's good for your iOS or your Android devices. You can find that at okcmarathon.com, which is your official website, which has a ton of information on it.
Yes.
All right, among that would be the participant information, and if you still want to sign up, and it's not too late, right?
Nope, it's not too late to register. Today's the last day you can register for this price range. So
Got you,
there'll be an
and-
increase on April 1st.
All right, so then that price change goes into effect in April as we head into the final couple weeks. And at that point, Patrick, how should people be training at this stage?
Well, if you're trying to do the full marathon, hopefully you've been training for a couple months.
You're already off the couch. Okay.
I would hope so, yeah. If not, maybe consider cutting the distance. But no, if you're doing the half, 4 weeks out, really, you've got about 2 weeks left of good, hard training. Then after that, you want to kind of start to taper off. You want to start to dial things back a little bit over that final 10 to 14 days. So here you should hopefully be honing in on your nutrition and your hydration if you're running the full. And if you're running the half, enjoying your last couple weeks of high volume before you start cutting back and getting ready to feel good and feel fresh.
What was the hardest part of the course? We mentioned that you can find the course map and the information, the places to watch, all the runners, and there were over 24,000 participants in last year's event. What was the hardest part of the course for you?
For me, it was right around mile 14 when you head onto Lake Hefner. So it was kind of smooth sailing all the way kind of through Nichols Hills and up into Britain, and then there was a pretty stiff headwind the second you made that left-hand turn. And that, for me, it was the most challenging section of the course. And then once you kind of got back off of that and onto Grand, things started to clear up a little bit.
There's not much you can do about that because it's
Oh,
so
no.
wide open and that wind's just going to slap you in the face whether you want it or not.
You just embrace it. Yeah, you just roll with it.
Any specific places you guys are guiding people towards? Here's a fun place you might want to gather to watch the race.
Yeah, we actually this year will have a new surprise along Classen that the Leadership Oklahoma City, a loyal class, has actually developed something called the Oklahoma Standard Stretch that will be from 23rd to 18th. And basically we'll just take you through how Oklahoma City has resolved since 903 on April 19th.
Wow.
And so we're excited for the runners to get to experience that this year.
That class and stretch is a long stretch too.
It's a deceptively long stretch. Yeah, it was very long for me last year.
Yeah, once you get past, once you're off of class and into the Mesta Park Heritage Hills neighborhoods, you're feeling at that point, hey, I got this. I can pretty much make it because there's so much crowd support once you get into those neighborhoods.
A tremendous amount, yeah. One, I mean, just from an environment, things start to get a little bit shaded just with all the trees back there. And there was a ton of crowd support in that area. And then as you head on to Automobile Alley, it was fantastic.
I remember the very first marathon that happened here in 2001. And I had a friend who lived over in that neighborhood, and I'm on the front line with him. And after that, I'm thinking I should actually be out there among these people running instead of on a front line watching people. It's inspiring either way. If you're on the pavement running, it's inspiring to see all the people along the sidelines. But if you're on the asphalt, it's pretty inspiring to see the people on the lawn cheering you on.
Absolutely.
How big of a boost is that crowd support for you?
For me, it was pretty significant, and it wasn't even just, I mean, when you talk about the Oklahoma Standard, I think Classen, for me, kind of embodied that last year. So that's where I started to kind of fall apart. That's where I began cramping and having to stop. And I got so much support, not just morally from the crowd, but I mean, people running off the side of the road and massaging me, people coming over and handing me fluids. I had a woman somewhere around mile 24. She came off of the half marathon course over to me when she saw me cramping and started ripping open packets of anti-cramping cream and just rubbing me down. So, I mean, I literally don't think I would have gotten to the finish line without the support of the people of Oklahoma City over that last 6 miles, starting on Classen and going all the way through the finish.
At that point, you're an assistant track coach at OU. What are you up to these days?
Yeah, so myself and our owner, Zach Morton, who's a Bishop McGinnis grad, former Navy SEAL of 13 years, came back to Oklahoma City to open up Higher Ground Running. So we're a treadmill studio and running gym located off of Britton and May up in the Colonnade Shopping Center.
Okay.
And so think of us kind of like spin class, but for runners on really high-end treadmills, incorporating weight and kind of strength training as well. And then we do private coaching. We do marathon training groups. We got 47 people right now training for this Memorial Marathon and kind of everything in between.
Very good. All right, it's that time of year again. You can sign up, get involved, get informed at okcmarathon.com. And as Jordan Wood mentioned, you can download that app for your iOS or Android devices. Guys, thanks so much for your time.
Thank
Best of luck
you.
with all the training and all the preparation that goes into the event.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
having us.